I have like a 40-minute rant about Hollywood right now that I'm just not going to do right now. Unless, do you guys want to hear the rant? Because I'll do the rant. Let me know in the comments below if I get 10 people that say they want to hear the rant on how I think we could fix Hollywood today from a writing standpoint, cinematography standpoint, and all of that. I will make that video tomorrow. Hit me in the comments below. This is that rant. Let's go. Where do we start? I'll ask you a question. What is the last good movie you saw this year? In like a theatrical release movie? Probably the answer is going to be Dune, right? That came out in 2024, didn't it? Yeah, Dune 2, the second Dune, a fantastic blockbuster theatrical released movie. It's an experience. I saw it 4 times in IMAX. It's that good. Well, name another good movie that came out this year like that. The clock is ticking. I'm guessing you're sitting there trying to justify another movie that came out in the same world, right? Like, I'm talking semi about blockbuster movies or mainstream movies. Obviously, there's always going to be those one-off auteur, independent movies that really hits. Like last year, or maybe it was this year. I don't know anymore. The years blend together. But Past Lives movie was incredible. It's incredible because it was nuanced. The writing was good. The acting was good. The intention was good. That's obviously different than these mainstream movies. Like what I really want to talk about today. Isn't that an issue? Isn't that a problem? Doesn't that make you sad? Maybe it's my age, maybe it's how long I've been watching movies, but it makes me incredibly sad that we are at that point where art and commerce are no longer meeting each other where they're at. It's all just like commerce first. I think to really like put it in perspective, you have to think about 90s movies. You have to think about what were we doing in the 90s all the way to the early 2000s that made like cinema so good. Is the reason I got into movies is because of the movies that came out then. And now I go to the movies. I have like the unlimited subscription pass, whatever, to go see movies. So I go see movies all the time and I walk out unsatisfied 9 out of 10 times. I don't think that's just a me problem. Now, I don't want to sit here and complain about filmmakers because I do not think that is fair. The filmmakers that are making these movies are inside of a system that I think is potentially flawed. And I never really think it's fair to critique other movies, really, generally speaking, at the sake of sounding hypocritical during this rant, because you don't really understand the whole context of how any movie gets made. There's a saying that like it's like a miracle that a movie ever gets made. Sort of true, sort of not true, but it is a lot of work, a lot of time and effort and money goes into it, and it is kind of wild how many people are trying to make movies and not being able to make them. So, and I'm sure I've made bad films, I'm sure I'm gonna make bad movies, and so I don't want to like ever critique. And not just for my sake, but I don't ever want to critique other filmmakers. Everyone's trying to do what they're doing, and I just don't think that's fair. But I can critique the system. I can critique the commerce side of it and what it's doing to our movies. I can only talk about it from the art perspective. I can only talk about it from what I've seen on the screen, and that's the product, right? I don't know anything about what's going on behind the scenes, so I mean, I can only make assumptions on the matter. And maybe we should look at it from the perspective of upcoming filmmakers, upcoming independent filmmakers, or not independent. Maybe one of you will break into the Hollywood system and be able to actually make decisions when making a big movie. Maybe you'll get that opportunity. So what can you do to maybe fix some of these things that are happening? I guess it's important probably to start talking about what I think is probably wrong. What is abnormal about today's movies compared to movies that got me into making movies? First off, I think there's a lot of writing things that are happening that are vastly different than how movies used to be. I think I'm gonna start with Alien Romulus. That's a movie I saw recently and I could probably speak to. Alien Romulus, wow, a giant franchise of very flawed movies. The first 2 are incredible, the first one being one of the best, right? It really like designed a genre. It was like the creator of the sci-fi horror genre. And it has so many elements that make that movie work that were very much lost with the other Alien movies. And now we're here, we're 2024, we've got another Alien movie coming out. I'm really excited. The director has made pretty decent horror films, so I was like, okay, this is going to be exciting. The trailer looks exciting. And you go into that movie, and it starts out, the first scene is amazing. The production design is amazing. It feels kind of like the old Alien in a way. They really hit home on the natural, practical effects. You kind of don't know if it's living in the Blade Runner world or the Alien world, and I was like, all right, like let's go, right? And then very quickly, the script turns right into I suppose, of B horror formula type script. Like some kid, it's like if some kids were supposed to break into a house, but the house is haunted. Kind of like that. They break into a spaceship, and then the spaceship's haunted by aliens, basically. Like, I understand what they were trying to do there, but wow, was there no nutrients in that movie? The alien premise, the idea, where it started, is a thick, amazing story premise because it can explore so many different themes, even about commerce, and about humanity, and about what it means to be a human, and all of these things, right? In survival. And this movie touches on the AI aspect of it, and it touches on the humanity of it, but it just like boop 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 2 hour movie of pure action, which I'm not complaining about, but let's break it down here. That really is just 2 hours of junk food. And I'm not, if you like junk food, then cool, that's fine. But what is different about that now versus what it used to be like in the 90s? Think about the biggest blockbuster, even I could say junk food movies of the 90s. 1993, Jurassic Park comes out. Jurassic Park has multiple characters. They're all designed to have an arc. They're all designed to address the theme of the movie. And yet we're just talking about a dinosaur theme park. That movie's a 10 out of 10. And then we have Spielberg backing it. We don't have Spielberg's backing an alien Romulus. It's just a weird thing that's happened here, right? Things have been so diluted down to their minimalist core ideas that they think will make money versus what actually makes a good movie. There's like 5 characters in Alien Romulus. Only 2 of them sort of have an arc. The main character and then the main character's brother, or the AI that is in it, have some sort of arc. They sort of play with the theme. But the other people in the script are just there to be other people in the script. One girl's just like supposed to be pregnant. Her only job in the film is to be pregnant. I don't think she even had a name. Do we know her name? Maybe she had a name. What are we doing here? There's a way to do this, right? Think of something like Guardians of the Galaxy. All 3 of them. Now, whether you like Marvel or not, which that's a whole other rant. I'm not necessarily a Marvel fan. I don't really keep up with it, but I always keep up with Guardians of the Galaxy. James Gunn is able to create these crazy, high concept ideas. We're talking space war and action and fighting and all the candy that you want, all the junk food that you want. But then you have 5 to 6 to 7 characters in a 2-hour movie that all have extremely multi-dimensional arcs with emotion. Have you seen the last Guardians of the Galaxy? That shit's gonna make you cry. And it's a junk food movie. This goes back to the idea about the 90s movies. 90s movies made you cry. I'm not saying every movie should make you cry. I'm just saying they were able to put heart in even the most highly profitable movies. They were able to do it all. And I'm not saying be a maximalist, but I'm saying these are core fundamental things of what storytelling is. Arcs, themes, ideas that make you ask questions about what it is to be a human and be alive. And now movies are just content. Oh man, it's so sad. I'm so sad by it. I just feel like there should be like this differentiation like between a Netflix movie and something I see in the theaters. And at this point, it's kind of a struggle to get something different on Netflix that you would see in the theaters. I mean, Netflix is doing their own thing for sure, but are the directors not fighting for this sort of thing? Do the directors not care anymore? Do the directors just want the opportunity to make a movie? Are they just wanting to get in the game? I don't know what's going on over there, but I am surprised that this isn't so obvious to other people. I don't think I'm one off thinking these feelings. I think these feelings have got to be true for many other people. Twisters. Twisters was shot in Oklahoma. It did a lot for our economy. It employed a lot of my friends. I'm really happy that Twisters was created. Twister, the original, is one of my favorite movies in the genre. It's just like, it's similar-esque to Jurassic Park, honestly. Like, monster chasers, but the monsters are just tornadoes? Yes, give me that. That movie's great, though, right? The blocking is great. The acting is great. The script has pure intentionality the whole time. There's like great conflict. It is maximalized. I mean, there is so much stuff going on, like happening at once in that movie, but it doesn't veer off from it. It knows what it's trying to be and it goes and does it. To me, even if like you think it's campy or over the top, it still does the thing. And Twisters did not do the thing. Oh my gosh. The first 40 minutes of the film, like we're trying to like get the character to finally do something because she's afraid of doing it, but we don't really know why she's afraid of doing it. Like, what is she actually afraid of, killing people or tornadoes? You don't really know. Her accent changes like 7 times. As being from Oklahoma, that was rough for me. That's fine. Whatever. We finally get to the midpoint of the movie. Stuff starts happening. And then male character just like stops being a character. He just is like now there just to be with her. Kind of like the trope used to be for the female character, for the protagonist in a lot of 90s movies, to be fair. Where is the meat? Where is the nutrients? Where is, like, this is why we tell stories. Now it's just pure entertainment. And it makes me, oh, so sad. Because at the end of the day, it is entertainment. And I'm okay, and I accept that. But it doesn't have to be one or the other. It can be all the things. This is why the Dune stuff works so well. If we want to go back to Dune, the reason Dune works is because Dune is talking about themes on humanity, themes on war, themes on ideology, themes on religion, all while having all the characters play on all those themes on power. And this is doing this at the highest level with similar budgets to what like Twister costs. Twister and Dune are not far off in the budgets. They just have a different director and substance at the helm of it, right? And this is like, well, now we're talking about the problem with America, junk food versus, vegetables. Yeah, like Dune does it all. Gives you the high action, crazy over the top stuff, but at the same time, like really makes you like go, oh, like think about things and feel things and do human things. And with this is like the junk food side of it all is like another point to talk about is that there's no more movie stars. We have super famous people, but there was a time that we used to go see a movie because a certain actor was in it, and we knew that we trusted that actor on the projects that they picked and the characters that they were going to portray. But now, because everything is interchangeable, because everything is just entertainment commerce, the movie star is dead. Like, you just have to have a big person in there just to, like, justify that I'm going to go see it. But once I get there, I don't really care who's in it. Swap out actor A, B, or C. It doesn't really make a difference to me in watching the movie. And I especially don't trust actors anymore. I don't trust anyone. Like, I'm like, oh, Matt Damon's in that movie? Got to be a good movie. I thought that for 15 years. And now I'm like, who freaking knows if that's going to be a good movie? Who cares if Matt Damon's in it? I have no idea if that's going to be a good... I just feel like we deserve more. Our money deserves more. It costs a lot of money to see a movie. And what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Woo! I've gone on for a little bit here. Let's see if I missed anything. Oh, we haven't even talked about cinematography yet. The cinematography of it all is all over the place. It's harder to create a full thesis on that, but let's use some of the examples we've talked about already. Alien Romulus. Really nice cinematography, really nice production design. And that's a key component to the look, the image, right? Like what we're seeing on screen has a lot to do with the production design. What was cool about Alien Romulus is that they really tried to lean into the old film, the old feeling of the original Alien movie. It's more of a warm color palette versus the cool color palette of the greenish one of the original. But they did that, right? A lot of practical sets, practical lighting, really nice shape, and a lot of intentionality with how the thing looked. So I give a lot of points to Alien for that. So it was kind of sad that it didn't do all the other stuff that an Alien movie would do, even though it was trying to basically tie up every loose end of every other Alien movie. And because it did that, it wasn't its own thing. Oh man, that's a whole other topic. But like, we'll touch on that in a second. But then you watch something like Twisters, shot by Dan Mindel, who shot some of the recent Star Wars movies. This guy shoots on film. He knows what he's doing. Twisters was shot on film. Like, cool. Does it look like it was shot on film? Absolutely not. It looks like a digital movie. It was graded to look, I'm going to say it, universally flat, so it's more appealing to a wider audience. Have you ever noticed, this is kind of a side rant, have you ever noticed some of the things with the highest views on YouTube, some of the things that, and this is the Marvel effect, they're flatter. They're like closer to log or Rec 709 than they are to being actually color graded. It's more digestible. It's the American way. Let's make this food more palatable. Let's make our movies more palatable. Let's not even give them a look, right? That's what's happening here. So Twisters, even though it was shot on film, you would think it would look incredible. And there's so many spots that do not look incredible. They really look, I know there was a lot of production issues with that film, but it's like crazy that it was shot on film and you probably couldn't even tell it was shot on film. And that's just sad. That just makes me sad. Because we know that's not the cinematographer's choice. We know that's not what they want ultimately from that movie. So I don't really want to blame them, right? Which makes me want to ask, when I shoot something, when I turn on the camera, I go, what would Roger Deakins do? What would Roger Deakins do? Well, he would stop down to T28. He'd probably shoot Super 35. He would shoot on a clean piece of glass. And that's just his style. I'm not saying that his style is right compared to anyone else's, but his movies look incredible. And now we're at, like I said in the last video, we're kind of wide open. Everything's blurry. You can't see the production design. Like, how much money does the production design cost? How much storytelling is in that production design? And we can't even see it. And everything is color graded without contrast. There's no nutrients in our films anymore. Woo! Okay, so to sort of get to the last point here, I just think that the meta-ness of it all is becoming a giant issue. Everything is based off an IP. I'm sure you've seen a lot of other rants about that, so I'm not going to get too deep in the IP problem that Hollywood has created for themselves. But when things are created with the thinking that the audience already knows what this is about, a lot of corners are cut because they just want to feed you the same thing. They want to McDonald's-fy your movie experience. Well, you liked this last time, so we're going to make it exactly like that again, so you'll come and eat it. And you know what to expect. And that does not create change. That does not create excitement. That does not create a lore. I don't want the same thing. I want the same but different, right? I want it to be organic. I want my food to change with the seasons. I want it to taste better in the summer, right? That's not the case anymore. To me, I think it's because things aren't created just on their own anymore. Even if you're going to make a movie inside of an IP, you don't have to reference any of the other movies. An alien movie, going back to that, it just needs to be people on a ship with the aliens and exploring similar things. That is not what Alien Romulus did. They just pick and chose from all the other movies, tied them in a bow, and created giant action scenes out of it. But there's still so much that could have been done with that. I love how it opened kind of almost feeling like Blade Runner. They could have done so much more with the world building there. There's so much opportunity. And I understand, I think he did go into it trying to just make basically a horror film, a B-horror film, but why not? Add some nutrients to it. Why not? I don't see why not. I'm sure it cost over $80 million to make. Production design, cinematography is amazing. You have a couple of really good actors in it. Why not do the extra bit? Is this going back to the Denis Villeneuve thing about not wanting dialogue anymore? I love Denis. He is one of the master filmmakers of our time, and he's thinks that TV dialogue has tainted the cinema experience and things should be just visualized on screen. Yes, love that in theory, hate that in practice, because nothing's happening in our movies if there's not human conflict being portrayed on screen with some use of dialogue, emphasized with dialogue at the very least. Power dynamics happening because people are talking with each other. We're exploring what it means to be human. Maybe I'm getting really hung up on the humanity thing of it all, but that's okay. This is my rant. I can do whatever I want. It's just put the human back into it. Put the emotion back into it. Put the heart back into our movies. And that comes all the way through the chain. That comes through the cinematography. That comes through the writing, that comes through the acting, that comes through the directing. All of it has to be there. The production design, right? All of it needs to be there. And it's just sad that we don't have that anymore. So to make this video productive, what are you going to do as a storyteller? What are you going to do as an aspiring filmmaker or cinematographer to make better stuff for us? Make something with nutrients for future viewers and consumers. Wow. Okay. I really did it there. For all those people that requested the rant, thank you so much. This was super cathartic to be able to do this. I appreciate the community engagement. So until next time, guys, I'm Spencer Sakurai. We'll see ya.